Welcome back, Undertakers. I'm TJ. You're watching Culinary Undertaking. If you're new here, that makes you an Undertaker as well, so welcome to my channel. Do me a favor, if you like what you see, click the little subscribe button at the bottom. It helps me out a little bit, and it's free to you. So today I'm going to show you guys how to make something really simple. We're going to make a little cauliflower rice. All you need is one ingredient. We've got some cauliflower, and I'm going to show you 4 different methods to make it. Why would you want to make cauliflower rice? Well, if you're on a diet and you're not doing the carb thing, you can use this to substitute for rice. If you're like me, maybe the store that you shop at during these stay-at-home times when they're running out of everything, sometimes the store doesn't have rice. And if you just want some rice, you're making a dish and you need a substitute, this will do it. I've never seen the store run out of cauliflower. So they may run out of rice, but they'll have some cauliflower for us. Or maybe you just want to try something new. Whatever your reason, I'll show you 4 ways to make some cauliflower rice. So it's easy. Let me show you how. Alright, and then just for this demonstration, I'm going to take my head of cauliflower and I'm just going to cut it into 4 pieces here. Alright, our first method just involves a knife. So this first way, anybody can do it. Just take your knife. Now I've already taken the leaves off the outside. I've already washed this off. Now I just want to cut out this big chunk of core. We don't want to chop that up. And then the rest of this, we're just going to start chopping. You can cut it into smaller chunks and then just work our way down like this. Just cut it smaller and smaller. Right, so just take your time and just work the cauliflower like that until it gets into small little pieces. So you won't really look like cauliflower anymore. You shouldn't see any pieces even like this big. Just keep cutting down. But be careful, take your time. We don't need any fingertips in here. Okay, so at this point, I didn't time it. That's probably took me 3 or 4 minutes. And you just take your knife, like I say, just keep cutting it like that. Just work your way through it, keep your fingers out of the way, and in just a couple of minutes, there you have it. So it's pretty rice size, rice consistency. That's all there is to it. So no electricity required, no special equipment required. So if you want some cauliflower rice and you have a knife, you're set. Alright, so on to method number 2. Now, methods 2, 3, and 4, they're going to involve a lot more cleanup than method 1. Maybe a little faster, but number 1 wasn't all that long. But number 2, that's probably the most common way people make cauliflower rice. And to do that, you're just going to use your handy-dandy food processor, and it makes pretty quick work of it. But you do have to take some precautions, so you can't just drop this whole chunk in there like it is. Again, we're going to cut out the center core section right there. Now, when you put this in there, you're going to want to break this up into, more manageable pieces like that. And also, you don't want to load too much in there at once. Otherwise, as you start to blend it, everything down the bottom will get mushy, while the cauliflower at the top will stay in bigger sized chunks. So use, small batches like this. Blend some till it gets the consistency you want. Empty it. Put in another batch. So it's a little time consuming that way. It's easy, but I'll show you. Alright, so we'll drop our first batch in there like that. Well, there's not a lot here since I had already quartered the whole head, so I'm going to put them all in there. But if you were doing the entire head of cauliflower, you'd want to keep it about 1 layer high when you start. That way it doesn't cause you problems. Okay, then you just want to pulse it a few times to get it going. Alright, so you can tell, that was pretty quick, 15-20 seconds maybe. And there you go. Perfect rice consistency again. This is a little bit finer than I got it with the knife. So you can see it's a little more consistent, where the knife, the pieces were a little more, they varied in size a little bit more. Where this got it a little more, well, there's a little chunk, but for the most part, a lot more consistent, and it was pretty quick. Now, we just have to wash a piece of equipment now. Alright, well that was easy. Now method number 3, pretty similar to number 2, we're going to use a blender. Now to do the blender, we're going to have to add an extra step in here so this works right. We're going to have to put water in here to cut this up the way we want it, and then we're going to have to strain the rice from the water when we're done. Otherwise, this is just going to turn this into a cauliflower smoothie, and I don't think any of us want that. So, get some water in here. And I'm not measuring that, just put some water in there. Then we're going to take our cauliflower, break it up in there. Alright, now we're going to start this on low speed. We want to chop it. Again, I'm not looking for a cauliflower smoothie. Gross. So our speed's all the way down. That's about it. It looks pretty consistent to me. Alright, we'll strain it out, see how we did. Well, it's a little chunkier than the food processor, what the food processor did for us. But, you know, if you wanted to, we could put it in and run it a little bit. I wouldn't turn the speed up much on it though, because, you know, we do want it to still have some shape to it. But overall, not too bad, and it was really fast. Alright, so now for our final way to make rice, I'm going to show you. Obviously, we're going to use a grinder. Now my grinder came with two different little plates to put in here. There's one for like coarse grind and fine grind. I've got the fine plate in there. And we're just going to feed our cauliflower down the top. Comes out. Now the only bad thing about this is anytime you grind anything, you always lose some to the grinder. There's always going to be some food stuck in the little auger or trapped in the plate. So, and since we're only doing a quarter of a head, you know, probably not the best idea. But just to show you guys, we're going to do it. But if I was doing the whole head, I wouldn't worry about the little that we would lose. Okay, so I just broke this up into small enough pieces that'll fit down into the chute right there. I pulled the core out, I'm not going to do that. This will be interesting doing this backwards. Oh, there it goes. Alright, so there's our ground up cauliflower rice. It's a little wetter than the other ones because it kind of juiced it a little as it went through. But it would still work just fine once you cook it. You know, it's going to take that liquid right out of there, so that wouldn't be a problem. So not too bad, and it's pretty consistent, pretty even all the way through. Alright, try to get us a nice little close-up. There's the one that came out of the grinder. That's the one that came out of the blender. There's the food processor, and there's the knife. All four. And there you have it, 4 simple ways to make some cauliflower rice. Even if you just have a knife and that's it, you're good to go. You can make some cauliflower rice. All 4 ways worked. All 4 ways had their pluses and minuses. The knife was the slowest, but it was the easiest cleanup. The grinder worked pretty well. It's the hardest to clean up, and it made the rice a little wetter. The blender didn't get it quite as consistent as the other 2 ways, but still did a pretty good job and was pretty easy to clean up. And then the food processor, it made it the most consistent, a little more fluffy than the other ways, and it wasn't too bad to clean. So there you go, 4 different ways. So most of you probably have more than one of these or all of these at your disposal to try out. So give it a try. Let me know what you think. As always, thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next one.